All right, let's take a look at question 32 now in topic set 6. This question gives us a enthalpy of combustion of ethene, or C2H4, and then it tells us a couple of formation enthalpy and asks us to calculate the formation enthalpy for ethene. To get started with this, let's first write out that enthalpy of combustion reaction. So combustion reaction, as you remember, is just something like that, and then it produces CO2 and H2O since this is a hydrocarbon that's being combusted. And the enthalpy of combustion is this value right here, negative 1411.1. Now you can balance the equation. So that's your enthalpy of combustion. Now they ask you for enthalpy of formation of ethene. If you remember when we talked about enthalpy of formation, we had this really useful formula, which is that the enthalpy of any reaction can be calculated by the sum of the formation enthalpy of the product times its number of moles minus the sum of the formation enthalpy of the reactant times its number of moles. And so we can use that to help us figure out the enthalpy of formation of ethene. If we look at this reaction, we can say that the delta H of combustion, which is for the reaction, should equal 2 moles, in this case, times the delta HF of CO2, one of the products, plus 2 moles times delta HF of water. So that's the product side of things, minus 1 mole times the delta HF of ethene, C2H4, plus 3 moles times delta HF of oxygen. You're given this number. It's negative 393.5 kilojoules. You're also given this number, which is negative 285.8 kilojoules. This number we don't know. We're trying to figure out. But we know this number. That's negative 1411.1 kilojoules. Now, what about this number right here? Well, remember, that's an element, and the enthalpy formation of an element is 0. So as a result, we have all the numbers we need except for 1, and so we can solve for that. So let's rearrange that equation. So delta HF for C2H4 and would be 2 times negative 393.5. I'm just going to remove the units now for simplicity, plus 2 times negative 285.8 minus 1411.1, and that would end up giving us positive 52.5 kilojoules as the enthalpy of formation for ethene.